Let's talk about different types of reinforcement. First, we're going to talk about edible reinforcers. So, for example, food. Um, it is not something that we encourage to use all the time. Um, there's quite a bit of heavy critique actually about using edible reinforcement because it does look kind of like animal training, like training a dolphin, and you feed them a fish. But if used correctly, it's actually very powerful because food or snacks, they're instantly gratifying, and once you put it in your mouth, it's instantly yummy if the student likes it. Um, so we do try to use it on for special occasions or for when the student is using heavy effort to do something. But we don't use it all the time because if you think about it too, if you're using food reinforcement constantly for let's say a 2 hour period of time, you're going to reach a point when the student is heavily satiated. Maybe by 30 minutes they're full, and therefore food reinforcement is no longer effective. So definitely, if we're using food reinforcer, which is very powerful, we're going to have to be very smart about it. Next, we're going to talk about social and sensory reinforcement. And this can range anywhere from a high five, a tickle, a hug, a massage, a squeeze, a swing. But basically, it's something that's being socially mediated from the therapist to the student. And it's a great way to build a bond and relationship between the two. And next, the most commonly one used is tangible reinforcers. And this is just typically toys. It could be spinny lights. It could be cars. It could be anything that you can put in your hand, and it can be delivered immediately. Now, what's so good about it is something that can also help develop play skills for students. So, and for young learners with less play skills, I mean, this is the best way to sort of encourage them to have reinforcement and also learn some maybe fine motor skills or cognitive skills as well as they're playing. And lastly, activity based reinforcement. And this could be playing a board game, video games. Typically, reinforcement that takes up a bit of time. And with doing that, you're going to have to scale up the expectations as well. Uh, and it's more natural if you think about it. It's almost like, you do well on your exams, and we're going to go to Toys R Us to get a toy. We're going to go take a trip to Llama Island as a reward.
Hey, do this. Well done. Do this. Really quick. Do this. Super. Oh, you nice copying. This is for you. Copy me. Yes. Do this. Nice copying. Copy me. Very good. Well done. Gonna give you a squeeze. Here we go. Squeeze up your arm. Well done. Copy me. Nice and quick. Do this. Awesome. Copy me. Well done. You did super well. For you.
Next, let's talk about developing reinforcement. And number one, the easiest thing to do is just to expose. We need to try new toys all the time because anything that's powerful that you have on your hands can lose its power if it's being overly used. And if we only have, let's say, one to two to three, of these really likable, these toys that the kids really enjoy, and we're constantly just reusing it and reusing it, it's going to reach a point where they're going to lose its effectiveness. So we need to develop new reinforcers and not to get stuck and settle on things. You know, I love chocolate cake. You should see, I love chocolate cake, but you know, I can only eat so much of it at a certain amount of time. And once I reach a point and I get satiated, I'm actually gonna, not eat chocolate cake for quite some time. And you definitely don't want to do that with kids and reinforcement. So we need to think about how to develop more. So exposing, trying new toys. I think one way to expose to is to think about similar toys that the student has had, enjoyment with before. If I have a student that likes to play with, let's say, sand, which I feel has a sensory component to it, then I'll think about maybe bringing him some the new kinetic sand where you can build things with it. And let's say he enjoys that. And once again, I'm thinking of sensory toys. I'm thinking maybe I could try out Play-Doh. And and if he likes Play-Doh and it's soft and you could create things with it, I'm thinking we're talking about creations, and maybe I could think about Lego as well, and so on and so on. I'm constantly exposing to new things to see what possibilities are there. Number two, we need to reserve. We need to avoid satiation. We need to preserve the power of the reinforcers. So one thing that I like to teach parents to do is to actually box up toys and label them, let's say A, B, C, or week one, week two, week three, week four, and constantly rotate it. So if week one is out and about right now in the living room, week two, three, and four, they're being placed away. And then once the week ends, I'm gonna take away one, maybe leave a few of the toys, and I'm gonna take up box two. And I'm constantly reserve and preserve each of the toys so the kids actually continue to have interest in these toys. Um, Next will be packaging and selling. Now, toys are toys. They have a function to them. They are meant to be played a certain way. If you have a water gun, it can be played very simply. You're gonna put water inside, and you're gonna shoot at things. But if you're able to turn that toy into something different, then the child might be more motivated once again because that toy is not just a water gun. Oh my goodness. You know what? Mr. Albert put coloring in it. So last time we actually painted a picture by using a water gun. Or, we played bowling with it. He stacked up like bowling pins and we shot it down with a water gun. Now, also by pairing these ideas and selling the toys better, not only do the kids like the activities and toys more, they actually would enjoy the therapist more because it's only more fun when we're doing it with me. So therefore, I think being creative and knowing how to sell and package is definitely something we need to think about when we're developing new reinforcers. And lastly, we're talking about just pairing good reinforcers with potentially good ones. So if there's something that my student really likes, maybe I'll keep it in range and we'll play with it, but at the same time, I may introduce something. If he likes to play with trains, I may build actually tunnels with Lego. So that way he associates the train with the Lego as he's playing. And I could think of a million other ideas. But that's how I would pair two things together. One good one with one potential, and eventually I could fade out the train, and we'll start learning how to build Lego, tunnels, build big buildings, and so on.